Same manufacturer, same vehicle class, similar price, and yet so very different. Our test on the Croatian coastal roads revealed surprising differences between the Honda sisters. We were on the road with the two Honda vehicles for 2 days. Stay tuned for all details and information. Both vehicles are compactly built, have a slim waistline, and offer a classic balanced naked bike seating position. The seat height on the Hornet is 795 millimeters, that on the CB650R is 810 millimeters. Thus, both can be described as absolutely accessible for beginners and also smaller people. On the Hornet, you feel even more comfortable and integrated in the vehicle. For taller people 1.85 meters and above, the knee angle becomes a bit acute, which doesn't necessarily work in favor of comfort on really long trips. The seat itself can be described as comfortable on both and also allows some leeway with the positioning. All buttons and levers in the cockpit are within excellent reach, and the operating forces required on the clutch are very low. Honda has always been excellent at this. A big plus on the new Hornet is the perfectly readable 5-inch TFT display, which plays all the pieces in terms of brilliance and comprehensibility of driving data. On the CB650R, you still have to make do with somewhat outdated monochromatic display unit. The information variety on the latter is also manageable. What an ingenious new engine in the Hornet. The 755 cubic capacity 2-cylinder with offset crankshaft proved to be a real beauty again and again during our 2-day practical test on the Croatian coast. Pressure and pull of this power unit are marvelous. On paper, the sober figures 92 horsepower and 75 newton meters. Don't look like it, but on the country road, the powerful high-torque 2-cylinder reveals its true potential. The successful gradation of the clean and crisp transmission is also beneficial to the driving experience. Only in sport mode is the throttle response too harsh, so that some hairpin bends require real sensitivity to keep a clean line when applying the throttle. Apart from that, hardly any wishes remain unfulfilled. When you switch to the CB650R, a fine 4-cylinder sound immediately caresses your eardrums after pressing the start button. A fine, high-frequency vibration tells the rider that a magnificent engine has been brought to life. Without even having driven a meter, you can already sense a certain value and the classic Japanese charm with this engine. However, when you set off on the first sporty country road kilometers, you immediately miss the pressure from the rev range. Here, the 2-cylinder had the edge. In the 649 cubic inline 4-cylinder, the music only plays further up in the rev range, but once the threshold of 8,000 RPM is overcome, the 95 horsepower pushes quite decently and ensures sufficient sportiness. Also noteworthy, the smoothness and elasticity of this 4-cylinder powertrain is second to none. In 6th gear through town, no problem. Even through the 30 zone, almost at idle, smooth and trouble-free. Both powertrains have something going for them and shine in different areas. The 4-cylinder runs silky and delivers its power linearly, while Honda's newly developed 2-cylinder spoils with significantly more pressure during spontaneous acceleration. The latter, in turn, goes extremely well with the Hornet's lively handling, but we'll get to that in a moment. Who eagerly strangles the throttle must also be able to decelerate quickly again. Both motorcycles offer a powerful braking system that meets the requirements of a modern naked bike. The Honda CB750 Hornet offers a 296mm dual disc at the front with radially mounted Nissan 4-piston calipers. The deceleration performance can thus be described as stable and well-dosed. If it is crisp, to the point, but in practice, you like to take a second finger to be able to anchor decently sporty. On the CB650R, the larger 310mm hardware is noticeable during the direct changeover. Here, even the sportiest maneuvers can be effortlessly operated with one finger. The whole also with perfect dosage and good feedback, which in turn gives an ounce more confidence. Right from the start, it can be said that the Honda CB750 Hornet offers a much more agile riding experience overall, with its geometry, shorter wheelbase, steeper steering head angle, low trail. The Hornet regularly guarantees riding fun when needed. Playfully, it stabs into the radius, and also sporty, briskly driven alternating curves go unbelievably easily from the hand. The 650 Neo Sports Cafe model, on the other hand, spoils with more precision and stability in the radii, which result from the flat steering head angle and the longer wheelbase. It can be directed to the apex with millimeter precision is full in the radius and thus always creates very trustworthy handling. In return, however, the handlebars need to be gripped hard at a sporty pace. In fast turns, it needs a strong hand and often a bit of pressure to change direction. A closer look at the suspension reveals that the new Hornet has relatively long suspension travel with 130mm in the front and 150mm in the rear, while the 41mm Showa USD fork is not adjustable and the rear shock is also only adjustable for spring preload. The setup is successful, basically comfortable, but not litter-like or even swaying. Even during very sporty driving, it brings reasonable reserves for this vehicle class. The slim 160 rear tire favors the drizzly handling, and apart from the somewhat lanky appearance, fits the overall concept wonderfully. In 2021, the Honda CB650R received a suspension update. Since that time, the sporty, tight damping characteristics also fit very well with the rest of the characteristics in driving. Even at low lean angles, when the ratchets are already scraping across the asphalt, it thus conveys a great deal of confidence. The responsive fork and shock is clean, and so the damping hardware, despite the lack of adjustability, leaves little to be desired. The 180 rear tire fits perfectly into the stability-oriented concept. The CB650R does not match the ease with which the Hornet can be controlled. Those who prefer comfort and said lightness will probably feel more comfortable on the CB750. Sporty riders, on the other hand, will appreciate the stability of the 650 suspension. And the higher the speed and the lean angles ridden and the longer the radii, the more the principle applies in favor of the CB650 year. Stable motorcycle is a fast motorcycle. With its very extensive electronic equipment, the new Hornet already towers in higher vehicle classes. And also to the sister model CB600 and 50R, it differentiates itself, thereby also clearly ABS and traction control are a matter of honor on both models. The CB750 also comes standard with 4 different riding modes, including a freely configurable user mode, control intensity of the traction control, response of the engine, and also the engine-dragged torque control can be adjusted in the latter. The sport driving mode uses the maximum engine power, level 3, and the lowest possible engine brake and traction control, both at level 1. Standard driving mode selects all 3 parameters at medium level, and the rain mode uses the smoothest engine performance, medium engine brake, and maximum traction control intervention. In addition, quick shifter including blipper can be retrofitted for small money. The latter is also available for the CB650R Honda accessories, but without the blipper function for clutchless downshifting. There are also other small and useful details that make life with the new Hornet easier in everyday life. For example, it has a USB port under the fillion seat for charging various electronic devices. An automatic turn signal deactivation prevents undignified light spectacles with forgetful drivers. And the 5-inch color TFT display mentioned at the beginning can also be customized in 4 adjustable views. Really great what Honda makes possible here in this class. When it comes to the visual impression, tastes vary and opinions differ. However, there is nothing to discuss when it comes to build quality. The CB650R has clearly received more attention to detail. This is clearly visible on the swing arm, which is nicely shaped. The rear frame also appears to be more finely finished, and the pillion footrests and their mountings are more nicely designed. Still nice to look at the stainless steel exhaust manifold, which nestles along the engine and flows into a short, unobtrusive muffler. Last but not least, the very small details, such as the seat stitched in a contrasting color, are also convincing and make this Neo Sports Cafe model always shine with class and quality. Here, the Hornet is again ahead. Prospective buyers of the relaunched cult motorcycle only have to fork over €7,990 in view of the extensive standard equipment, and the adult driving performance may be taken here quite the word bargain in the mouth. For the CB650 demands exactly 900 euros more, with which one should have, as a determined customer, 8,890 euros with the attendance of a German Honda dealer in the bag. Conclusion on the Honda CB650R 2023. The 2021 update has done the Honda CB650R good and solved the problem with the lax suspension. Since that time, the sporty, tight damping characteristics also fit very well with the rest of the characteristics in riding. The four-cylinder runs silky, but wants to be kept happy with revs during sporty riding. The vehicle exudes great value and the classic Japanese charm. However, many competitors on the market are now technically more advanced, which is noticeable, for example, in the electronics equipment or the vehicle weight. Conclusion on the Honda CB750 Hornet 2023. What an ingenious engine in the 2023 Hornet. The newly developed 755 cubic two-cylinder with crankpin offset proved to be a real doozy in our 2-day practical test. Together with the lightweight chassis trim for agility, it vouches for being a real guarantor of riding fun. The seating position is accessible, balanced, and excellently suited to smaller riders. The CB750 Hornet is a successful naked bike that manages to set new standards in its class with unusually comprehensive equipment. Thank you for watching this comparison. If you have any questions, comment below. We will try to answer everything. Feel free to leave us a like to make sure you don't miss any video in the upcoming future. Subscribe to our channel and stay tuned.